Hello folks, welcome to Outdoors with Bud. I'm your host, Bud Fields. I want to give you a little bit of information now on some different types of scent and when to use them and how to use them. Now, I put scent in two categories. Number one, I put one scent in attractant, and that's something that's going to smell to a deer like it's something that wants to eat, or it's a curiosity scent, and he wants to come in and see what it is, or maybe come in to like food or something. And the other type, which I put a lot of emphasis on, is cover scent. That is, I don't want that deer to smell anything that smells like a human, so I'm going to put something out there that's going to help cover up my scent as well as when I'm spraying down with some of the products that I discussed earlier. Okay, now, cover scent can be used just about any time. Now, there's different ways of doing it. These little cotton, everybody calls these little, looks like a letter P. It's got a hole in the middle of it. Well, you hang this on a twig, on a branch, and then you dip this long part down in your scent product, whether it's a cover scent or whether it's an attractant scent. Well, the deer will come in and smell that, and it will get his attention, and 9 times out of 10, he's going to go looking for it. Now, cover scent is something that, like I say, I want to cover up my human scent. Now, the two that I rely the most on is red fox urine and coon urine. Now, you never want to put this on your person. Years ago, that we used to do that. We'd put it on our shoulders or on our sleeves or on our pants legs. But when you went into town and get a lunch, you didn't make very many friends because you're sitting there and you're smelling like something that hasn't had a bath in a month. You don't want to do that. So what I like to do is put these out and maybe get the deer's attention, or I might take a piece of boot rawhide lace, tie this on there and tie it around my ankle, and then when I'm walking in, when I dip it in this coon urine or the fox urine, I'm dragging it on the ground, and that's leaving a trail that makes them think that there's a coon or a fox. Now, the main reason I'm putting a lot of emphasis on this is no matter where you hunt here in the Midwest, there's going to be fox in the area, and there's going to be raccoon in that area. Now, you may not see them all the time, but they are there. The deer know they're there. And anything that smells like a red fox or raccoon, the deer does not spook. Now, if I'm hunting on the ground, if I'm hunting in one of the little pop-up camouflage blinds, I like to use a red fox urine because a fox does all of its traveling on the ground. It doesn't per se climb a tree like what a raccoon does. And very effective. But like I say, never put this on yourself. You put it on some bushes, you put it on the ground, or you use one of these little wicks, and that'll work. Now, I hunt a lot out of a ladder stand, or I hunt a lot out of a elevated tree stand, a hang-on tree stand. That's when I like to use a raccoon urine. Raccoon climbs the trees, and it's very common. And those two is really good. And a lot of times, especially this synthetic scent, it does not freeze in the cold winter. Now, another type of cover scent, you can see how small these bottles are. This is an earth scent. This smells just like dirt, freshly dug up dirt. If you're going to be hunting around the edge of a plowed field or something, this could be very effective. You can spray this on the bushes around you. You can spray it on the scent wicks like what I showed you. Or something like this, you could even because this doesn't smell bad. I mean, it just smells like dirt. You could spray this on your pants cuffs, and that'll work. Another cover scent, this is pine. If you're hunting around a bunch of pine trees, Christmas trees per se, this is very good because you don't want to go in there and smell like something other than pine, especially if you're hunting around a pine tree orchard. There's no oak trees per se. You don't want to go in there and smell like acorns because there's none of them around. So pine scent is a good one if you're hunting around evergreen trees. Now, if you like me and you hunt around a lot of oak ridges, acorn scent is a fantastic. And a lot of the deer like to eat acorns, and they're used to smelling acorns, so that is a good scent to use. But they're very, very easy to carry, and like I say, there's a friend of mine that lives in Texas. He owns Hot Trails scented candles, he's got a lot of stuff that is all made like it's in heat. He makes it like raccoons in heat, red fox in heat, deer, doe in heat, elk in heat, moose. He sent me some, and he sent me some raccoon lures, and it was in heat. I tied one of these little wicks on a string and was dragging it behind me, and I was leaving a trail coming into the woods. Now, mind you, this was in the dark. This was before daylight of a morning. I climbed into the tree. I'm sitting up there, and all of a sudden, I hear the leaves crunching. I thought, we're the only hunters that's in here, and my buddy was a couple 100 yards from me. I thought, this might be a deer. Well, it didn't sound like it was big enough to be a deer, but it sounded like it was approaching very close to my location. Next thing you know, I can hear a little noise. I shined my flashlight down, and it was a boar raccoon. He had tracked that raccoon in heat scent. And when I seen Bill, when I got home, I told him, I said, did you ever have a boar raccoon climb the tree with you while using that raccoon in heat? And I said, have you ever tried to tell a boar raccoon when it was dark that you had a headache? I didn't want to hurt that raccoon. I didn't want to shoot him, but I took my arrow and I was trying to bang him on the head to get him to leave, and finally he decided to leave. But that stuff really, really worked. But there again, that's cover scent. Now that's just to cover your human scent. Now then, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about attractant scents. Now, one thing you got to be careful with attractant scent is when you use it. Wildlife Research Center makes one that's called Trail N307. Now, this is a curiosity scent. It's got a sweet smell to it, kind of like a licorice smell. It's a combination of like a food scent and a little bit of a sex attractant. You can use this any time of the year. The deer will smell that, and he'll normally get the smell of the licorice first, then he'll come in and he can get the scent of like a doe in heat or coming into heat, and he'll come in and check this out. I can use this any time of the year that I want. Now then, at a certain time of the year when the does come in heat, it's referred to as coming into estrus. That is marking of the rut, the breeding season. Now there's all kinds of things that you can use. They make a kit like this. This is a scent dripper, and it's got a bottle of the golden scrape. This is made like of doe in heat secretions. You pour this inside of the little bottle, you hang this on a tree limb, and it's got a little hose down here in the bottom. As the sun comes out and it warms up a little bit, this will start to dripping. And this whole bottle will normally last about 2 to 3 weeks in this. And that will draw a buck in. If you've ever used what they call a mock scrape, you can hang this on a tree limb or on a branch just above the ground, maybe 4 or 5 foot. Take your feet or your hands and rake out all the leaves around there to make what looks like a buck scrape on the ground that a buck makes when he's ready and he's looking for a doe. This will drip down there, and it'll be like a magnet. Now there's another type of scent. It's called active scrape. Here again, this is for like when the does start in the heat. Then they got the golden scrape. All this is good, especially when the does are in estrus. Now, I have sold, or when I was doing my deer hunting seminars like at Rural Kings and Walmarts and Dick's Sporting Goods and Dunham's, the guys that come in September, or right about this time of the year, they don't go over there and get some of this stuff as what I call cover scent. They go in and they want to get the doe and estrus, this type or this type here, and it will all work at the right time of the year. But when deer season comes in October the 1st, the does are not in estrus. They are not ready to breed. And the bucks, they're ready to go all year long, but it all depends on the does when they come into cycle. Now, they'll come in normally around the Midwest here in Indiana where I live, normally the very last week of October to the first couple weeks in November, the does will start cycling, come into estrus. they will start going around, and the bucks, like I say, will paw the ground and make these scrapes. If you can find like a trail that's got a number of these scrapes on the ground, and they're easy to find because the leaves will be there, and it'll look like somebody come in with a rake, and the buck paws the ground. He paws the ground, and this is his calling card. This lets them know that he's available. Well, the does, they'll come on these trails, and when they find one of these scrapes, most of the time they will go up to this scrape, and they will squat down and they will urinate in that scrape. And then she will normally go off just a few yards and maybe wait for the buck to come back. If he don't come back very soon, she'll leave and go to another place where she's going to find a boyfriend. When that buck comes back, he's going to smell where that doe squatted and urinate, and he will go into a frenzy. But, like I say, this does not happen the first part of October. But the guys will go out there and they'll start putting all this estrus scent around every place, and they're tainting their area. They're spoiling the area. The bucks know those does aren't ready, but all of a sudden, here's a calling card for a doe that's supposed to be ready. So if you're going to use this, the only time I use it is if I'm going through the woods and I see an active scrape. An active scrape, a lot of times the buck will make these, and he might have one here, he might have one there. But if you can find a trail or a ridge that's got a bunch of scrapes, that's his interstate highway. He's going to pay a lot of attention to that. He knows everything along that trail. If you can find a trail or a bunch of scrapes like that, you can put a little bit of that scent in there. Or, like I say, you can put some of these little scent wicks on the branches and put some doe and heat solution on it. And when the buck's in that area, before he comes up to that scrape, he'll stop and he will visually cover the area to make sure that it's safe. And if he gets a scent of a doe in heat in there, he's going to come in just to charge it, and that's going to give you the opportunity to get a good shot. Now, about all this stuff that I've showed you, I have used personally. I have used it successfully, but you have to use it at the right time. And if it's not the right time, the best thing to do is to use like the fox urine if you're hunting on the ground, or if you're hunting from an elevated position. Like I say, raccoons climb the trees. The fox do not. Use that. You can use fox and you can use raccoon lure all year long. Early season, mid-season, late season, through the rut to the end of the season. The scrape juice, the doe and estrus solution, is effective at the right time of the year. You use it at the right time of the year, you're going to have a good chance of success. So just bear in mind, if you see signs of activity, breeding, if you actually see the bucks chasing the does, she will come through there like a freight train. And that buck's going to be right behind her. His tongue's going to be hanging out. He's going to be slobbering. He's going to be hot to trot trying to get that doe. That is when you want to start using your doe and estrus. I kind of keeping track with a lot of my buddies, and we kind of tell each other, okay, maybe I'm hunting in Cass County, my buddy's hunting in Howard County. Maybe the bucks are running to be crazy up here in Cass County, but they're not running quite as active yet down here. But usually from the last part of October to about the second to the third week in November. Now, not all does will be bred that first breeding season. The does that does not get bred, they will go out of heat. Then they will recycle about a week later for maybe 3 or 4 days. It's not as long as the first estrus cycle. But just because you miss that first breeding cycle does not mean that you can't kill another one later. I shot a doe one time, and a buck was right behind her. And I was going to take her because it was legal. It was legal to shoot a doe, but I hadn't taken a buck yet. And the way she was acting, I thought, there's got to be a buck. Well, the buck come up behind her, and I've got his antlers up there on the wall on a European mount. So you get you some scent. Take care of your body like I showed you in the other segment. Take care of your body. Get yourself clean, your clothing clean. Use the proper scent. So get out there and enjoy your hunt. So, folks, we'll see you again. We got some more coming up. Some of the future episodes that I'm planning on doing. I've had some people wanting to know I'm going to be discussing the different types of arrows. I'm going to discuss how do you refletch an arrow. I mean, like put new feathers on it or new plastic veins. I'm going to show you how to do that. All kind of stuff. Camouflage, effective use of that, tree stand safety, the anatomy of a white-tailed deer, and I just hope you're going to enjoy it because I know I am. So see you down the road, folks. October 1st is getting closer, so tomorrow you'll be another day closer to deer season. So good luck, God bless you, see you in the woods.